So again with another video, Otero here. Um, so in this one, I'm going to talk about how to actually get more hours out of your job when you're on work and travel as a J1, right? Especially as a Jamaican, right? Now, listen, the jobs you're gonna work, or yeah, the jobs that you're gonna work when you're over here as a J1, they're not going to be office jobs, right? They're not gonna be jobs where you're in the office, right? Or you're doing stuff that you can sit down upon a chair and be at a desk. No, right? Unless it's a front desk job where you have to admit people into like a hotel or something like that. But other than that, the jobs you're gonna work, it's gonna be manual labor, right? Dishwasher, right? Dishwasher, yes, right? And um, like if, for example, if you work at like in a food place, right? You're either gonna be a server or you're gonna work in the kitchen, right? If you work as a server, you can rely on getting paid through tips, right? I tried getting a job before in that, but it didn't happen. But generally, right? Um, you know, if you do the server job, it's not gonna be easy, right? It's not gonna be easy because you have to um, constantly be friendly. You're always doing something basically. You don't really get, from what I've heard, you don't really get free time, right? But if you work in the kitchen now, the benefit of working in the kitchen is you can get food, right? You can easily bring home with you, and you can get food throughout the day easily, right? Easily. Right? I worked at McDonald's before. It's easy, right? Because especially, and this is the main part of the video I want to get to, when you provide really good value to that workplace, they will literally do whatever you ask of them, right? You can ask them to make you their best meal, they will make it for you. Why? Because you're good at the job. You're better than the people there, right? And it's how it works when you're on work and travel. It is your choice, right? Whether or not you choose to go above and beyond, right? And figure out what is the most important part of the job, the role at that job, the most important one, and then the role that not many people want to do, or maybe that they can't do it. So there's a scarcity, right? Once you identify what that role is and it's available to you, that you can work, right? If you master that role, you will get the best experience there, right? I'm not saying you're gonna get paid more necessarily, like they're gonna give you a pay increase, no, but you may get more hours. They will give you things. Americans have given me things just because they see I'm a good worker. I'm really cool with them, right? I don't complain. Don't complain. There's one thing. Don't complain. Don't complain to the Americans. Don't complain to the manager. If you're going to complain, complain to your Jamaicans, right? Complain to other J1s, because they understand. But if you complain to the Americans, they don't want to hear foolishness from you. As far as they are concerned, right? They don't really care about you when you're at work, right? I'm not saying they're not human beings and they don't care about you at all, but like when you're at work, they don't really care, right? And they don't have to, right? They're giving you the opportunity to come there to work, right? So don't complain, please. Don't complain to your boss. Don't do that, right? Unless it's like something like wrong. But if there's something wrong that you see, you need to package how you say it in a way where them not go, feel like you're complaining, right? Because they don't like that. Americans in general don't even, especially like the manager. That also, if it's like an old school manager, him don't want to hear that, right? Right? He'll take it from American workers because American workers can find another job, but you can't, right? Unless you want to go back to Jamaica and work at KFC, which I don't want to do. I know you don't want to do, right? But yeah, whatever it is, like, so if it's in the food place, right? Like at a fast food place, for example, let's say Wendy's, right? If you're working at Wendy's, right, and in the kitchen, the most important job and the job that not many people will be able to work is either the cook or the person who makes the orders. The hardest job is really the person who have to make the orders, right? Because I've worked both before, and making the orders was harder. Making the food is hard too, very hard, but the orders become a problem when you have orders coming in back to back to back. You make a mistake, you get back up by a little bit, right? It's hard. You have to move fast the whole time. You have to make minimal mistakes, and if you make mistakes, if you make either one big mistake, they'll replace you immediately. It's hard, right? It's not easy, but it's doable if you get really good at it. I've worked with a girl from Dominican Republic, and this is a girl that you wouldn't expect to be able to do it. She'd do it better than me, right? She do it better than me, and she do it really good too, right? I had to humble myself and let her do it because she didn't want to work as the cook. Cause that's what I was really good at. She didn't want to work as a cook, even though she was willing to do it. She didn't want to do it because you get burnt the whole time, right? And she's still a girl, so it's still she don't really feel comfortable doing it. She don't mind getting her hands dirty, but she don't feel comfortable doing it. So I had to humble myself and just let her, play your role, right? When you play your role, people will rate you, right? Americans will rate you, the other J1s will rate you, right? Because it shows that you're cool, you're not difficult, right? The only time you should be difficult is if you know you're good at the role and somebody trying to bully you off it, right? I've had that happen before. Like I was clearly good at what I'm doing here, and this guy is trying to like switch with me. I'm like, no, bro, like you're good. Or I didn't say that to him because he was American, but right? As long as and this is just in life in general, right? I do believe it is true, right? If you want more, you have to find something that not many other people are good at, right? And that you can't really just be replaced by, right? And master it. Once you master it, and it's important to those people, you get power. I've had power. I've experienced it, right? I've had the power where I come into work at a certain time, way after the guys who have been working all day. They're already there. I come in and the manager just asks me, "Where do you want to go, Steve?" Right? He doesn't just tell me where to go. He asks me, "Where do you want to go?" Or another example, I worked on a go kart track, right? And on the go kart track, there are two positions where you work on the ground. Then there's other positions where you work in towers, right? Tower guys don't do anything. Not that they don't do anything. They generally don't do anything, right? Most of the day they just stand up during the ride and then they sit back down and they rest, right? They're there just to oversee if anything happens on the ride that the guys on the ground can't get to, right? But on the ground, right? I remember I came in. I was told to go to it's a position called back pit, right? I got to back pit, right? There's other guy who was working front pit. Now this front pit is a position that I was just starting to get really good at, right? But this was a really busy day, and the other guy who was working front pit was there for years. He's an American, so he wanted to make sure everything went smoothly, right? So he just told me to go to back pit. So I went to back pit. I don't know if you guys hear that. There's a fire truck going by, but yeah. He told me to go to back pit, and I was working back pit fine. This was the busiest day we had the whole summer, right? Busiest day, it was crazy. People coming in, it was lines on lines on lines, and we had to be working like fast the whole time. But I'm doing back pit and I'm doing it fine. And one little mistake happened, right? Where this little white boy was pulling in his go kart, right? And he was going into the wrong lane, and I'm yelling at him. I'm raising my voice. I'm like, "Hey, come over here. Hey, turn here, turn here." And I start clapping my hands at him, and I yelled at him, and then he finally realized, but it was too late, and then it caused a pile up. Right? When that happened, right, we had to fix it. When we fixed it, right, the guy was in front pit, right? He comes to me and he tells me, "Steven, I'm gonna have you work front pit, not back pit." Right? Now, why is that important? It's important because if it was anybody else in back pit, they would have sent them up to the tower, immediately, no questions asked. Even if they were good at back pit, they would have sent them up to the toe, right? Because they don't trust you on front pit. But because I mastered front pit, right? Because it's a more scarce position, right? He knew I could do it, so he said, "All right, you made a mistake there, but I know for a fact that you're not gonna make a mistake here, right? And I'm not gonna send you up to the toe because you're better than those guys at this position down there, right? That's some of the benefits that can come, right? And to some Jamaicans, they don't really care about that. They don't want to do any work. They just want to get paid, and that's fine too, right? That's completely fine. You don't have to go above and beyond either, right? This is just for the people that want to have like an easier experience when you're there. Because once you get good at that stuff, you get again, you get more hours, you get more leeway. So if you make mistakes, the Americans will let things go. Like I said with that guy, he didn't just send me to the toe, he sent me to front pit, right? He didn't berate me for it either. He would have berated anybody else, but he didn't berate me, right? Because again, I'm human. He knows I'm gonna make mistakes, but this time he let it go, right? And they'll give you things. Yo, I've had Americans give me things for free, right? Give me chocolate, give me shoes before, Nike shoes. I'm not joking. This guy literally, he rated me that much. He literally saw that my shoes had holes in it. The man give me Nike shoes, right? $100 Nike shoes. Now, granted, Americans, for them, I think shoes is like nothing to them really. So they have loads of shoes. So I guess maybe it wasn't that big of a deal to him, but to me, it's a big deal, right? Maybe it was for him, to be fair, but like once they like you and you're a good worker, they will give you things. They'll give you leeway. I've had people pay for. I've had managers pay for my lunch. They will do their best to make your experience nice. When you don't do what I'm saying, right? It may not be that way. It may be a little bit harder. You may not get these benefits, but if you want these benefits, that's all you have to do, right? Figure out what that thing is that's at the job, right? That is scarce, that not many people want to work, but it's very important, and master it. So even if it's dishwasher, master it, right? I've had roommates, Spanish speaking roommates, right, who worked as dishwashers in a restaurant at a hotel we were all working at. They were getting the most hours out of all of us. They were getting food the whole time, right? They were given stuff. They were treated well. I'm telling you, it's the way when you go on work and travel for sure, right? But again, if you just want to breeze back, that's fine too. Guys have done that too. I've seen, and they still have a alright experience. But to me, I do like having a little extra, you know, to my experience, right? But yeah, I think that's about it. So yeah, marinate on that one.